Watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It's an absolutely gorgeous early evening here in Cleveland, and it is time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. Tonight, it's the New York Yankees against the Cleveland Indians in Game 3 of a 4-game set from Progressive Field here in Cleveland, Ohio. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees have lost the first 2 games of this series against the Indians. In fact, they have a 4-game losing streak, and their offense has kind of disappeared. What exactly is the problem? Well, let's take a look at the numbers first. 6 runs in the 4 games. They're hitting .218, and with runners in scoring position, 3 for 26, 27 runners left on base. Kenny, you were a really good hitter, so what's the problem?
Oh, well, during the course of a long season, Michael, even the best hitting teams go cold. It's hard to believe right now the Yankees are the 2nd highest scoring team in the league behind the Houston Astros. It's just not happening now. Maybe it'll start tonight against Salazar, but he, too, is a tough customer.
All right, speaking of Salazar, let's take a look at the entire pitching matchup. Brought to you by People's United Bank N.A. Danny Salazar, 4-5, 4.63 ERA. And Jordan Montgomery, the young left-hander, he's 7-6. And Kenny, with 6 guys in the rotation, this could be the end for Jordan Montgomery unless something happens.
Well, 2 starts ago, he was very good against the Cincinnati Reds at the stadium in New York. In fact, he picked up the win in this game. One thing you would notice, he gets a lot of chases. Hitters will chase pitches out of the strike zone against him. Now, his last start, also at the stadium, was not as good against the Rays. Season low, 2 2/3 innings. He took the loss. The Yankees got hammered in that game. Jordan Montgomery is probably his worst start of the year. So this is a bounce-back start for him tonight.
Now, he's going to have Austin Romine behind the plate. Big story last night. Gary Sanchez continues to struggle defensively. Pass balls, wild pitches. Meredith Marakovitz has more with Joe Girardi next when we return on Yes.
Welcome back to Cleveland. I'm Meredith Marakovitz. It was a rough day of work for Gary Sanchez last night. He allowed a run to score on a pass ball, the 12th pass ball that he has allowed this season. That is a major league worst. After the game, manager Joe Girardi had some strong words for his young catcher.
He needs to improve. Bottom line, he needs to improve.
Why do you think he's had such a tough time blocking the ball this year?
he's late getting down. That's what I see it sometimes, and something we've been working on, and we need to continue to work on it.
Joe, has he regressed from last year in that department?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes when you get a chance to see someone for a full season, it's a little bit different, but it's something that he's capable of doing a better job.
Gary Sanchez will DH today, so it'll be Austin Romine behind the plate. Joe Girardi really likes the rapport Montgomery and Romine have. Matt Holliday is not available today. Joe Girardi saying he tweaked his lower back, so time will tell exactly what they will do with Holliday. Plenty more to come here on the S Network when we get back. Michael Kay will be joined by Ken Singleton. Game 3 of the 4-game series coming your way in just a few minutes.
Brought to you in part by Fridays. In here, it's always Friday. My Bigelow Tea, who encourages you to grab a mug and tea proudly. By Coke Industries. At Coke, we make things that make the world better. And by Mazda, driving matters. Well, the Yankees are going to try to snap out of this 4-game losing streak and get their offense together and get a well-pitched game. Their two newest starters opened up this series, and each took a loss. Sonny Gray on Thursday and Jaime Garcia yesterday. First time that's happened to the Yankees, where two new Yankees lost back-to-back. You have to go back to Dave LaPointe and Andy Hawkins. So let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup that will try to break this 4-game losing streak. It's presented by Lexus. And the Yankees come in at 57 and 51. They'll lead off their left fielder, Brett Gardner, batting second. The first baseman, Chase Headley. Aaron Judge at right will bat third. Cleaning up today, the shortstop, Didi Gregorius. Gary Sanchez will be DH. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, center fielder, Jacoby Ellsbury. Todd Frazier had a home run in last night's game. The third baseman will bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing second base, Ronald Torreyes. And behind the plate, catching and batting ninth, Austin Romine.
On the mound for the Cleveland Indians from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, Danny Salazar. 1-1 in his career against the Yankees. Here's his record this year. 14 games, 12 of them starts, 4-5 record. ERA up somewhat inflated for Salazar. He's a better pitcher at 4.63. Let's check out our pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. This is his 100th career appearance tonight. 98 of those appearances have been starts. He had some shoulder issues earlier this season, was on the disabled list, but since he's come back, he's been pitching very, very well. Right-handed batters, they seem to have a problem with him. He has an excellent changeup, good fastball, and right-handed hitters hitting just .213.
Why don't we take a look at the defense, which is presented by Geico. You've got Brantley in left, Austin Jackson in center, and Brandon Dyer is over in right. In the infield, what a game yesterday for Giovanni Urshela. And you've got Lindor at short, Ramirez at second, Santana over at first. Gomes behind the plate tonight, and then Danny Zalazar is on the mound. Well, if you just joined us, Matt Holliday feels a little bit of pain in the left lower back. No move has been made, but Joe Girardi said he will not be available tonight, and they will discuss whether or not they have to put him on the DL. So the DH tonight, as we showed you, is Gary Sanchez, and Austin Romine is behind the plate. Romine does have a rapport with Jordan Montgomery, so it worked out that way. But we'll see if the Yankees stay with Holliday and whether it's a long-term thing for the Yankee DH, who has been struggling since coming up the DL, 11 for 81 during that time. Gardner's ready. Salazar is ready. And let's do it here in Cleveland. First pitch up and away, and we're underway. Angel Hernandez, the home plate umpire. John Tumpane at first. Sean Barber at second. And the crew chief, Ted Barber, is the third base umpire. Ted Barrett. Check that. Pitches outside corner. There's a strike, 1-1.
So if Holliday not available, that means the Yankees are effectively working with a two-man bench tonight.
Yep. And their second catcher is a DH.
Yep.
1-1. Outside, 2-1.
Mentioned Salazar. Record against the Yankees in his career is 1-1, but the ERA is well up there at 5.60.
Two and two. Another sellout crowd here at Progressive Field. Standing room only, the sign said when you walked into the ballpark. Indians averaging over 21,000 a game. So they have not really capitalized that much on their American League Championship last year. 3-2 on Gardner. So still filing in. This beautiful ballpark in downtown Cleveland.
Yeah, there's no doubting the weather tonight as opposed to the first two games.
3-2. And Gardner works a walk. Speaking of weather, let's look at the game time weather presented by City MD. Feeling under the weather? Just walk into City MD Urgent Care. 73 degrees, humidity 54%. Wind is 10 miles per hour, and the forecast is for a clear evening. So here's Chase Hadley. Since June 13th and 44 games, hitting .329. Overall, he has the average up to .272 after a dreadful May. There's a strike.
They had a couple of hits here last night, a double and a single.
Now, we mentioned the Yankees have a 4-game losing streak. Take it back just a little bit more. In their last 6 games, they're 1-5. Team's hitting .204. And here's the number that really affects the wins and the losses. They're 7 for 40, 175 with runners in scoring position.
You know, it's not so much that in every one of those situations you needed a hit. You know, sometimes you just needed a ground ball and you'd score a run.
Joe Girardi talks about it as situational hitting, which the Yankees have not done well of late. They've also scored 2 runs or fewer 3 games in a row for the first time all year. And Kenny mentioned in the open, Yankees have scored more runs than any team in the American League except for the Astros. And you wonder how much that gets skewed, because there are some games where they'll put a 12 spot on the board, and they've lost a lot of 1-run games this year.
20 of them. That's a big number.
And last year they were 24-12 in 1-run games. Only the Texas Rangers better. 1-2. Foul ball. Gomes could not hold on.
Yeah, Gardner at first has stolen 15 out of 18, but Yan Gomes behind the plate has been you know, probably the best throwing catcher in the league. And of course, a lot of that has to do with the pitcher on the mound, how well he holds the runners. But Gomes has thrown out like 44% of the runners who have attempted to steal this year. So he's been accurate, and he's got a strong arm.
Santana with the pants all the way up past the knees again, that holding him on at first. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Headley down on strikes. One away.
Salazar is a strikeout pitcher. And he's got a great changeup, and that was it there. It's like a split change. And the bottom's going to fall out of this as Headley begins his swing. It looks pretty good, and then it ends up out of the strike zone. That is his put-away pitch. Besides a fastball that works in the mid-90s.
Here's Aaron Judge, had a single and 2 walks yesterday. 3 for his last 21. Could not hold up. On the fastball upstairs, kind of waves through it, 0-1. And that's the pattern we've seen against Judge. Up and in with heat, low and away breaking ball. That one is ripped to left field. It's a base hit for Judge. Brantley gets the ball in quickly, so Judge picks up a single, moving Gardner to second.
Well, last night in his first at bat, he had a solid single to left field. And we'll see. It's the changeup, but that one sits right in the middle of the plate, and he stayed back on it. And a line drive into left field for the base hit.
Judge lost a home run lead yesterday with Giancarlo Stanton hitting 2. So the Marlins slugger has 35. Judge leads the American League with 34 home runs. Here's the cleanup hitter, Didi Gregorius, so the Yankees threatening early here in Cleveland. Didi is a .314 hitter with runners in scoring position. Overall, an even .301, 17 homers and 53 runs batted in.
This is the 9th time that Didi's batted in the cleanup spot, and I think that number you mentioned, Michael, is one of the reasons why Joe Girardi doesn't hesitate. He hits with runners in scoring position.
Gomes wants to talk with Salazar. Salazar, 27 years old, signed by Cleveland as a 16-year-old in 2006, as Kenny mentioned, Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic.
Here's something to remember about Salazar in the early going in this game. His last 2 starts since coming off the DL, he's been very, very good. And when he gets a batter with 2 strikes, they are 0 for 28 against him with 16 strikeouts. He's been putting hitters away when he gets the opportunity. See if the Yankees can buck that trend tonight.
That one is ripped into center field, going back. Jackson still back, and that ball's going to be off the wall. Scoring is Gardner. They will hold Judge at third. It's an RBI double for Gregorius, and the Yankees are on the board. They lead 1-0.
What was that number you said with runners in scoring position?
314.
Yeah, it just moved up a little bit. He got a fastball down, drills it. Line drive over the head of Austin Jackson in center field, just below. Hits the yellow line. Just didn't quite get over the wall. And you can see only 1 run's going to score. There's Gardner going to come in, and there's Judge headed for third base. So the Yankees still with a scoring opportunity here, and what are they? 1 for their last 1. What a runner in scoring position.
Now they're back at short and second for Gary Sanchez, so a ground ball will score Judge. And this is what Girardi was talking about yesterday, situational hitting. Just try to go up the middle, and you'll probably get the run in. He said, don't try to hit home runs. There's a strike. Take another look at how close that was to a 3-run home run.
Yeah, and almost got out of here. And you can see some of the fans were anticipating maybe getting a souvenir, but it didn't quite work out. We look at it on Yes Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Good job by Jackson getting the ball on the carom and getting it back in quickly, so Judge had to hold it third. 1-1 to Sanchez.
Sanchez admitted after the game yesterday that he had struggled behind the plate, especially on the pass ball. He got blinded by the attempted bunt. And he was out early today working in the bullpen with Tony Pena. Interesting, George King of the New York Post called up Brian Cashman, who said he thinks that part of the issue defensively with Sanchez is that he added 12 pounds of muscle during the offseason. And he said, I don't think he has the flexibility they had last year. So 12 pass balls for Gary. Yasmani Grandal of the Dodgers has 11.
It's kind of unusual to see Kurt Suzuki on that list. He's a pretty good defensive catcher.
2-2, that one off the end of the bat.
Yeah, one way the Indians have been trying to get Gary Sanchez out in this series, they're going with a lot of breaking balls to him. That is not Salazar's best pitch. His two best pitches are his fastball and his changeup. And he went with a breaking ball there to try and get Sanchez to swing and miss.
Sanchez has 17 homers. Third most in the major leagues for a catcher. Sal Perez has 21. Wilson Contreras 18. Strike three. Sanchez down looking. And that is what has been bedeviling the Yankees over this stretch, where runner on third, less than 2 outs, they don't get him in.
Fastball right on the corner. Maybe Sanchez expecting the ball to break out of the zone. That one 96, about knee high on the corner for call strike three.
Here's Jacoby Ellsbury now with 2 outs. Judge is at third. Gregorius, who picked up his 54th ribby, he's at second. Yankees have a run on the board. Looking for more. Clint Frazier not in the lineup today. He's been slumping of late. So they give Ellsbury a start in center and have Gardner slide over to left. Gary alone with his thoughts. 1-0. Lined into center field. Jackson is there, and that'll do it. But the Yankees get a run. 2 hits and 2 men left on base. It's the Yankees 1 and the Indians coming to bat. Is going to face this Indian starting lineup. At the top, the shortstop Francisco Lindor, then it's Brendan Guyer in right, and Michael Brantley in left. Last 14 games against the Yankees, big numbers, 362, 8 extra base hits, 15 ribbies. Jose Ramirez will clean up and play second, then it's Edwin Encarnacion at DH. Carlos Santana will play first. Austin Jackson's in center, batting 7th. Batting 8th and catching Yan Gomes, and Giovanni Urshela, the third baseman, will bat 9th.
Jordan Montgomery doing the pitching for the Yankees, 24 years old, first ever start against the Cleveland Indians. There are his numbers on the year. Start number 21 for the young left-hander. And let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Honda dealers. As we mentioned, a bounce back start. He didn't do well in his last start against the Rays. He is the rookie leader in the American League in wins with 7 and in strikeouts with 104. And 4 of his 7 wins came in the month of June. He went 4-0 in June. He's trying to pitch like that for the rest of the year if he can and stay in the rotation. This, as Michael said, might be a big start for him.
Well, there's 6 starters right now, and the Yankees have insisted that they will not go with a 6-man starting rotation. So it would seem that no matter how he pitches tonight, Jordan Montgomery would be the odd man out. But Joe Girardi said, I'm not going to make any announcement before I have to, because you never know if somebody's going to get hurt. He didn't say this, but you never know if anybody's going to get hurt. And if they do, why should Montgomery have to think that he would have been the one taken out of the rotation? But common sense would tell you it's probably Jordan Montgomery. But he can make their decision tough if he spins a gem. Here's Lindor. Pitch outside.
We saw Jaime Garcia start last night for the Yankees. Jordan Montgomery and Garcia have something in common. They try and get hitters to chase that breaking ball in the dirt.
You wonder, Kenny, if he's run into a rookie wall. Last 6 starts, a 5.90 ERA. Opponents hitting .280 against him. Just one quality start out of those 6. And we remember how good he was in June.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you would think that might come a little bit later. They're used to playing in the minor leagues through August, but you know, an extra month in September is the one that can separate the younger players from the veterans.
Well, coming into tonight, 110 and 2/3 innings. Last year combined in the minors, 139.1. So he's not in any danger area at all. Usually an organization will increase you by 40 innings from the previous year's usage. And so he could go to 180, you would think. The Yankees haven't announced anything like that, but he's at 110 and 2/3. And that one is low, so the count 3-2, and you add 5 innings in the minors to his 110 and 2/3, and that's where we sit right now. And the payoff. Ripped down the left field line. That is going to be trouble, and it'll go into the corner and up against the wall. Played out there by Gardner, and Lindor starts it off with a double.
Well, you mentioned earlier in this series that Lindor, a switch hitter, has been better from the right-hand side of the plate, and he gets the game started for the Indians here in the bottom of the first with a 2-base hit. He's a career .320 hitter in this ballpark at home. It's going to be his home for a long time, you would expect. A young star in the American League.
So here's Brandon Guyer. Torreyes shades up the middle, trying to check back Lindor, keep him close. And a bunt foul. Yankees are in at the corner, so he wasn't catching anybody sleeping. He was just trying to sacrifice Lindor to third.
Yeah, he's been a hot hitter though lately, 10 for his last 25. So Guyer, who is kind of struggled against lefties this year. This used to be his bread and butter. He can play against left-handers, not much against the righties.
Another bunt attempt and bunted foul.
Had a chance to check in with Terry Francona before the game today. I was asking about his health. He said he feels fine. You know, he had some issues, couldn't manage in the All-Star game. Had a heart procedure. His bench coach Brad Mills took over for him. American League won the game in extra innings. There's that breaking ball we were talking about that Montgomery will feature and try and get right-handed hitters to swing over the top. Good block by Austin Romine. Here's another look. A little pinball right there, but he kept it in front of him.
One-two. Fouled away. And Romine goes out and talks with Montgomery. I'll give you a look at the Yankees defense, which is presented by our very good friends at Geico. In the outfield, you've got Gardner in left, Ellsbury in center, and Judge over and right. In the infield, it's Todd Frazier, Didi Gregorius, Ronald Torreyes, and Chase Headley. That's third to first. Romine's behind the plate. Montgomery is on the mound. 1-2. Strike 3. Geyer down looking.
It looks as though he doesn't agree with Angel Hernandez, who's calling balls and strikes tonight. Gave him a nice lengthy look after this call. Romine bringing the ball back up. Let's see if it's it's kind of close, but it's not where the ball is caught. Yep, it was a strike. It hit the bottom of the strike zone and then dropped out for call strike 3, according to PitchCast.
So the Indians don't move the runner over. Here's Michael Brantley. And a strike on the outside corner.
Just a tick under 300, 298. But the on-base percentage very respectable at 358 for Brantley. He's reached safely in 23 of his last 24 games.
Chop over the mound. Charging is Gregorius. And against Brantley as Lindor moves to third. And that'll bring up Jose Ramirez hitting 322. And that's second in the American League to the Astros' Jose Altuve, who's hitting 365. That's a difference of 43 points. The last time a batting championship ended with that big of a spread, you have to go back to 1999. Larry Walker at 379. Luis Gonzalez at 336. Punched out right side. Torres from the outfield grass. Over to Headley. And Montgomery works out of trouble. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left. We played one, Yankees won, and the Indians nothing. Brought to you by Toyota. Prius Prime is the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. Does the addition of Yu Darvish make the Dodgers a lock to win the World Series? Why or why not? Sports Fan 2000 XX. No team is a lock for the World Series. You tell them, Sports Fan. It does make them a favorite, but I think it all comes down to Clayton Kershaw. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius Prime. Keep the conversation going. I'll tell you what, no team is a lock, Kenny.
That's true. And a lot of people thought the Indians were a lock last year when they went up 3-1, and they didn't win.
Todd Frazier swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Santana with the catch. Let's take a look at that Dodgers rotation. So Kershaw's on the DL, and you've got Darvish, Alex Wood, 13-1, Rich Hill, and Kenta Maeda. So Kershaw's going to be out a while. They hope they get him back before the end of the regular season. Lower back strain. They just beat the Mets tonight or this afternoon. Pretty good staff. Pretty good team.
I saw a stat the other day. Kershaw had 21 starts on the year. Dodgers are 19-2 in his starts.
Well, I mean, they're on a pace as a team to win 114 games.
Yeah, they're solid right now.
1-1 on Torreyes. Since the All-Star game, Torreyes 18 for 56. That's 321, hitting 289 overall.
If I were to tell you or have you guess who was the Yankees' leading hitter on the road, it's Ronald Torreyes. He's hitting 350 on the road this year.
Swing and a miss. Torreyes down on strikes. Here's Austin Romine. Now, if in fact Holiday has to go on the DL, and that's certainly uncertain, you might see more of Sanchez DHing and Romine behind the plate. But Romine has to start hitting again. He's certainly fallen off. He's hitting 230. He does a good job with runners in scoring position. Since the beginning of last year, a 347 hitter in those situations. Count 0-2.
Yeah, a lot of that, how much he plays, might depend on how well the rest of the lineup is hitting. George Roy might feel comfortable with him, even if he's not hitting. If you've got 5 or 6 guys swinging a bat pretty well. Not everybody hits well at the same time. It might happen for a game or two where everybody in the lineup comes up with a hit. We've seen that. Everybody joins the party every once in a while. But those games are few and far between.
One-two. Chop towards short. Lindor gets a nice hop. And the Yankees go down 1-2-3 against Salazar. We'll go to the bottom of the second inning here in Cleveland. And the Yankees lead this one 1-0. Official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. One more game against the Indians, a 1:10 start. We'll have it on Yes. Monday's an off day for the Yankees. And then on to Toronto. 3 night games against the Blue Jays from Rogers Center. And then the fun begins. The first place Red Sox coming into Yankee Stadium. 7:05 on Friday, 4:05 on Saturday, and then an 8:05 game Sunday night. That'll be on ESPN.
You know, I'm thinking all the games from this point on are fun. Down the stretch baseball, I've always loved it.
Well, how about that stretch that starts next Friday, Kenny? 3 against the Red Sox, 4 against the Mets, and 3 against the Red Sox.
Should be very entertaining.
A bit of rivalry week on Yes. And there's a strike to Encarnacion.
Yankees are trying to stop a Cleveland streak here. Cleveland's won 9 straight home games.
Chopped right side, shift was on, but plenty of time for Torres to get over. One away.
Yeah, the right side was wide open for Encarnacion, but he didn't hit the ball hard enough. Torres able to scamper over and make the play going to his left. You can see plenty of room on the right side. And he might have had the right idea, although he didn't hit it hard enough. Torres, plenty of time, guns it over the headlet, and the leadoff man's out.
You know, you mentioned Terry Francona and the health issues that he had. Had to undergo a 9-hour procedure called a cardiac ablation. And also taking beta blocker medication to slow his heart rate and lower his blood pressure. And the one thing that friends of Terry's are concerned about, he continues to chew tobacco. Now he's cut back on it, and he puts a little bit into the bubble gum that he chews, and he tries to hit seeds in there, but you're hoping that he can just cut it out completely. But it is addictive, I would assume. I investigated this, Kenny. How many pieces of bubble gum do you think he goes through a game?
Oof. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a plentiful supply right behind him.
There's 300 in that bucket, and he chews 80 pieces of gum a game. Hope it's sugar-free. There's
Now,
a strike.
What determines that he gets rid of it, a piece of gum?
I guess if it loses flavor.
Okay. Something wrong goes on the field.
He's going in now.
Yeah.
Well, he's going in twice.
That's how you get the 80.
High fly ball, left field, Gardner back, turning, looking, and it's off the top of the wall. Santana is going for second, and he will make it for a double. Now they're saying it's a home run. The third base umpire, Ted Barrett, said that ball was gone, so the game is tied.
Joe Girardi might want to check this. Santana's coming across home plate. The Yankees might want to go for a second look. And it gets above that yellow line. It's a home run. Robbie Thompson checking with Brett Weber. Yeah, it's above the yellow line. It's gone. That's a homer.
16th home run for Santana. Santana thought it was a double. He stopped at second, and the way that Gardner played it off the railing, it seemed as if it was off the wall.
No, Gardner played it well. I mean, he comes back to you, throw it back in.
Here's Austin Jackson. He hits one the other way and out of play.
Jackson was twice on the disabled list this year, once with a toe injury and once with a quad injury, and that's why he doesn't have quite as many at-bats as some of the other players, but he's been hot his last 18 games, almost 400. And right now, he's platooning with Brad Zimmer in center field.
Pretty good platoon.
Yeah, it is.
Two pretty good players.
Yeah, they've both been playing well.
2-2.
You would think that as time goes on and Zimmer gets, maybe a few more opportunities against left-handed pitching, he'll become an everyday player. He's got that those type of tools.
Popped up. Out of play.
But as for now, Jackson's more than holding up his end of the platoon. as well as Zimmer on the other side.
And the 2-2. Hit sharply on one hop, backhanded by Gregorius across the diamond. 2 away. You know what happened in 1921 on this date?
Ooh, I missed the papers that day.
First broadcast of a Major League Baseball game. Pirates beat the Phillies 8-5 at Forbes Field, and the first play-by-play man ever, Harold Arlen. And it was on KDKA in Pittsburgh. Strike to Gomes.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, KDKA is one of the few radio stations east of the Mississippi that have their call letters begin with K. Most
Yes.
of them are the W. I think it might be the only one. Now, as you go west of the Mississippi, it's more prevalent.
At KMOX.
Yeah. Well, that's barely west of the Mississippi.
It's still west.
Yeah, it is. And it's one reason why KMOX is one reason why the Cardinals were so popular, because at one time they were the furthest team west, and KMOX had a very strong signal, and I heard it carried all the way to Montana. So they could Cardinal games were beamed to a lot of the west of the United States, western states.
Swing and a miss. Gomes down on strikes. But the Indians have tied it. Carlos Santana. He goes deep. Over the high wall in left field. Over the railing. His 16th home run of the year. It's a 1-1 game as we go to the third. That is your #1 mobile app for live Yankees baseball. Stay connected with a fully customized experience. Get Yankees home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Brett Gardner leads off the third. Takes a pitch inside, 1-0. One game. And a strike. Gardner walked and scored in the first inning. Scored on the RBI double by Gregorius, which came maybe an inch or two away from being a 3-run home run. Two and one.
We're looking at the Cleveland defense against Gardner. They're playing just about straight up all over the field. maybe Jackson a step towards left center.
Salazar, before he went on the DL with right shoulder soreness, actually was demoted to the bullpen at the end of May. He came out of the gate so poorly, and the way Terry Francona framed it, he said, listen, we're not demoting him, we're putting him there to work on things. In the bullpen you could work on things. We expect him fully to come back into the rotation, which he eventually did. And Gardner walks for the second time tonight.
The all-important leadoff walk.
Coming into the season, Salazar pretty good numbers, 33 and 27 with a 3.72 ERA.
You know, I think, you know, both Salazar and Carrasco, who's starting tomorrow, were both out of the World Series.
Yep.
They were both injured. I think Carrasco had a broken hand. He got hit by a line drive or a ground ball. And Salazar was having arm problems. And that left pretty much Corey Kluber and Bauer and Tomlin.
And Bauer was playing with a drone. Swing and a miss. Snap throw to first, and Gardner gets back.
There's an example of Gomes' arm. There was some daylight there, but Santana had to worry about scooping the ball out of the dirt.
Santana started as a catcher.
Yeah, he did. But he started to have knee issues. And, you know, they began to work him out of the catching as a DH, and then eventually a first baseman. Those knee issues must be passed by him now because he's showing the knees off. It's certainly a different look.
So he wore it like that Thursday.
Yeah.
Yesterday, all the way down, normal, you know, the bell bottom look. And that was a white top. Maybe that has something to do with it. And today, back up over the knee.
I wonder if it has to do anything with what he does offensively. Because he already hit a home run today. So if he wears the pants like that tomorrow, that would give me an indication that it goes by how well he hits.
How did he do yesterday?
Let me see. He went 0 for 3.
1 and 2.
And Thursday, he went 0 for 3.
So we'll see this monstrosity of a look tomorrow. One, two, swing and a miss. He gets Headley for the second time.
And I believe he got him the same way on that changeup. Oh man, that's a good one. The last 34 batters against Salazar with 2 strikes. 0 for 33 with 20 strikeouts. 2 walks for Gardner. Get him early in the count. Ooh, Judge tried to.
Now the Yankees scored in the first inning, and they had allowed the game's first run in 7 straight games. And our very own Seth Rothman notes that they're 35 and 13 when they score first this season. It's 1-1 right now. And the 0-1 to Judge. Blocked beautifully by Gomes and then fires to first. He's just showing his arm off.
Well, Gardner was thinking about moving up, but he saw the ball didn't get far enough away from Gomes. It was a pretty good stop on a tough pitch to handle. Gomes is showing off his defensive skills here. Blocks it, recovers. So he's 0 for 2 and trying to pick Gardner off first base. Judge got a hit on a changeup. Now, it wasn't the best one that Salazar can throw because it kind of sat in the middle of the plate. But he's tried that high fastball you were talking about early in the count here. And once again, there's a hitter with 2 strikes.
And the 1-2. Strike 3 right down the middle. Fastball. Judge down looking 2 away.
Right there.
You got to be guessing something, Kenny, if you're going to take a fastball down the middle.
You can see on pitch cast, it's almost right in the center.
Here's Gregorius. Double and a run in the first. Swings and misses here in the third.
Gardner at first is 5th all-time in stolen bases on the Yankees with 233.
Ripped down the right field line. It is a foul ball. Just foul.
That didn't miss by much. And what it causes is Gomes to go out and talk to Salazar. We get another look at it, and it is barely foul. So Didi's barely missed a 3-run homer and maybe barely missing a run-scoring double right here.
One game, top of the third. Each team with 2 hits. Swing and a miss. Salazar rings up 3 strikeouts after the walk to Gardner. So the Yankees strand 1, and we go to the bottom of the third. 1-1. Brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Most consecutive seasons with a winning record. And this is managers going back to 1961. We always use that as the line of debarkation because that's when I was born. Sparky Anderson, 17 years in a row. Earl Weaver, 16. Kenny, you were part of a lot of those. Bobby Cox, 15. Joe Torre, 14. Then Terry Francona, 12. And Joe Girardi, 9. And they both have winning records this year.
You notice there was a period where Earl retired and then came back again.
Giovanni Urshela. Pitch outside, 1-0. Lined into right center field. It's a base hit. Cutting over his Judge. Cuts the ball off beautifully and then fires in. Nice play by Judge, holding Urshela to a single.
Yeah, that was impressive. Big man on the move. Got to that in the gap and held Urshela to a leadoff single here. An impressive piece of hitting to begin with, and a line shot that looked like it was headed for the gap. But you're going to see big number 99 roll into the gap, and then the strong arm back into second. And Urshela has to hold it first. Yep, threw on the brakes.
Back to the top of the lineup, and Francisco Lindor double to left in the first inning. Up and away, 1-0. Urshela's single, the third hit by the Indians. Yankees have 2. Yankees have left 3 runners on base. Along with Ken Singleton and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay. We thank you for spending part of your Saturday evening with us. 1-1 game, bottom of the third, right here on Yes. And a strike. Strike on the outside corner. 1-2. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Lindor down on strikes.
You talk about the chase rate, making pitches look good that really aren't. And he gets Lindor to chase that breaking ball in the dirt. Good stop by Romine behind the plate. And he picks up a strikeout.
One on, one out. Here's Brandon Guyer. Tried to bunt twice his first time up, missed. Actually fouled one off and then struck out looking. And a strike. One and one. One and two.
Now Guyer has started all 3 games. And he's getting a chance to play a little bit more because Lonnie Chisenhall is on a disabled list, a left-handed hitter. Guyer wouldn't chase that breaking ball in the dirt. Cleveland's dealing with some injury problems. Primarily Andrew Miller. That's a big injury.
Foul back. We are coming to you live from Progressive Field, which still looks great. Opened up in 1994. Line drive right at Gregorius. Fires to first, but getting back is Urshela.
Looked like Didi unloaded before he even came down after leaping to come up with this line driver. Nope. Feet hit the ground, then made the throw. Yeah, managers will get upset if you get doubled up on a line drive to the opposite side of the field. Line drive to the pitcher or first baseman, or even sometimes the second baseman. You get doubled up over first base. At first base, they can understand. But a line drive to third baseman or shortstop, you shouldn't be doubled off.
Brantley with a fly ball to right. Judge is there and puts it away for the final out. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We've played 3 here in Cleveland. Yankees and the Indians are knotted at 1 on yes. Cleveland culminates with one final battle here at Progressive Field. Start your game day at noon with Audi batting practice today in the Chevy pregame, and the Yankees take on the Indians in the series finale right here on Yes, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Luis Severino against Carlos Carrasco. Nice pitching matchup, and our coverage begins at noon on Yes. Here's Gary Sanchez as we start the 4th inning, 1-1. Sanchez had runners on second and third, 1 out in the 1st inning, and struck out looking. And they had the infield back at short and second. So they were giving up a run on the ground ball, and we've seen that a lot, not just saying it about Sanchez. The Yankees have just been unable to play that situational ball. There's a ground ball up the middle on the broken bat, and Lindor gets Sanchez.
And that's what manager Joe Girardi was talking about in the pregame about situational hitting and how it's not been happening lately.
Audi scoreboard 1-1. And he's not just talking about getting a ground ball with a runner on third and less than 2 outs, hitting the ball to the right side when there's a runner at second and nobody out, getting the runner over. They're not doing the fundamentally sound things. They're all pressing. They're trying to hit the 6-run home run. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury. And a strike.
You know, sometimes you win games. It's not so much that you win them, the other team gives it to you. Now, we saw the Yankees do that in the opening game of the series against Corey Kluber. And the Yankees made 3 errors in the first inning. It's hard to recover from that, especially with somebody like Kluber on the mound. My point is, Cleveland's a good team. I mean, they were in the World Series. Like, they're not the type of team that's going to give you a game. You got to actually beat these guys, which means you have to take the opportunities when you get them, come through in the clutch, play solid defense, and get pretty good pitching.
And just like they won't give you anything, you can't give them 4 outs in an inning.
Yeah. Or however many they gave them in the first inning the other night.
6.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Ellsbury down on strikes.
Well, we mentioned it earlier. When you get 2 strikes against Salazar, lately you are done. It's about 0 for 35 now. And there's that split changeup, and that is a nasty pitch.
7 strikeouts. 1 out. 2 outs into the 4th inning. There's Frazier. One.
I had a chance to talk to Frazier today. Remember last night before he hit the home run that Bauer came up and in on him? And we saw Frazier look out at the mound and say something. And I asked him about it. And he said, the only reason I said something is because Bauer said something to me first. So he says a lot of times when the pitcher comes up and in, he'll look out at the mound to see if it was on purpose. And Bauer actually said something, and that's what made him say something back to him. And then he hit the next pitch for a home run, which is the ultimate comeback for a hitter.
2-2. Foul back. Here's what Kenny's talking about.
There's the pitch up and in. And there's the home run.
Strike 3. Frazier down looking. 8 strikeouts for Salazar over the first 4 innings. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's 1-1.
Rakovitz, and it's time for tonight's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore, doing more in state-of-the-art healthcare. Matt Holliday is not available today after tweaking his lower back in yesterday's game. Joe Girardi saying he complained of the pain when he came in today. Holliday has just not seen the same production since coming off the DL. He was hitting .262 in 68 games to start the season. Since coming off the DL, guys, just .136. Now the Yankees have some decisions to make whether or not to put him on the DL.
It's so confusing to see him be this ineffective. And Girardi said, when you realize how important he was to us in the first half, you then realize how tough this is to deal with this situation, because this is a guy who's planted in the middle of your order, out his scoreboard 1-1, and he just hasn't hit. So on one of the swings last night, Meredith said he felt something in his lower back, left side, and they'll see if they have to DL him. And Ramirez goes around, and he goes down on strikes. Now, according to Girardi, he does not think Hicks is ready to be called up.
No.
Hicks has another hit in a rehab game tonight, but you know, you're a switch hitter. You're trying to get both sides worked out. You've been out for an extended period of time. So we'll see what the Yankees do.
I mentioned the chase rate for Jordan Montgomery. He's one of the best in the league, and he struck out a tough hitter to strike out lately. That's Ramirez. I think he's only struck out like 4 times in his last 75 plate appearances. So to get him to chase made a pitch look really good, and it dropped down to the zone. Sort of like that one.
Well, he's got numbers that the sabermetricians love, and that's why he will attract eyeballs to that crowd, because what Kenny's saying, the swing and miss percentage, and he also has the lowest hard hit percentage in the American League. Just 25% of his pitches are hit hard or put in play hard. And he gets a changeup, and Encarnacion swings and misses. So that's the best in the American League, 25%.
That pitch wasn't put in play at all.
There's Carlos Santana. He put one into play. He put one almost into the seats in left field, up against the railing over the high wall for a home run. Tied the game at 1. That's where we stand. 1-0. Santana is in the final year of his contract, and in all likelihood, he probably does not come back next year. He's 30 years old, and last year the Indians picked up his option for this year, which was $12 million. And he had been under a 5-year, $21 million deal. So he's certainly going to want more, and this is not the place where he's going to get it. Line drive right at Todd Frazier, and a 1-2-3 inning for Montgomery and the Yankees against the Indians. Let's go to the 5th. It's a 1-1 game right here on Yes. to have that streak because the Yankees have lost 4 in a row. So the Yankees had a lead in the East, and now they are 3 behind the Red Sox, 2 in the loss column. The Rays and the Orioles and the Blue Jays in that order follow. Ronald Torreyes will lead off the 5th. He swings at the first pitch and pops it up foul and out of play.
Torreyes is one of those hitters that has a high percentage of swinging at the first pitch. He doesn't let many go by. If you have any anecdotes about him, as we look at our GMC scoreboard, you better get him quickly.
The 0-1. 0-2.
Doesn't walk very often. He has walked 6 times. Didn't strike out all that much either. He usually puts the bat on the ball.
The 0-2. Up the middle. Ramirez gets Torreyes. 1 out.
At that time for the Yankees, number 27, Austin Romine.
Before the game, the Indians honored Lou Boudreau, who was actually the player manager for their last World Championship team in 1948. His family was here for the unveiling of a statue outside Progressive Field. Romine with a high fly ball to shallow right. Geyer there. 2 outs.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Late afternoon ceremony for the family. And the Indian players were there. A nice touch. And there you go.
Player manager. You ever think we'll see that again?
I think the last one was Frank Robinson, right?
Yeah,
right here.
Right here in Cleveland.
13 seasons, Indian shortstop, world champion in 48, 8-time All-Star, Hall of Famer in 1970. Became a broadcaster. Pitch inside. So the Indians' retired numbers are Bob Feller, 19, Boudreau 5, Earl Averill 3, Bob Lemon 21, Mel Harder 18, Larry Doby 14, and Frank Robinson 20. And they've also retired 455. I mean, we're going to have to get into the 3,000s to get to that number. But that's for the amount of straight sellouts they had here when the place was called the Jacobs Field. 455 straight games.
Now, Frank Robinson's number 20 is also retired in Baltimore. Now, I wonder if it's also retired in Cincinnati because he was MVP there.
And of course, 42 is retired here for Jackie Robinson. The last player that will wear it, or did wear it, was Mariano Rivera, and he was grandfathered in because he had that number when Major League Baseball decided to retire 42 all around the majors. 3-1, up the middle, and past the diving Lindor into center field. So Gardner's been on base all 3 times, 2 walks in that 2-out single.
And Salazar's had trouble with Gardner all night long with the 2 walks. Falls behind 3-1. Gardner gets a pretty good pitch to hit, rips it back into center.
So Gardner's on first. Headley has really struggled against Salazar's breaking pitch. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts.
You know, as I said, you got to get to this guy early in the count. He's been it's all been his way lately when he gets 2 strikes on a hitter because he's got a good fastball. You have to respect that, but his changeup is one of the best in the league.
1-1 for Headley. So when he's ahead in the count, opponents at 193 against him this year. And behind in the count, 333. So we're teetering right now at 1-1.
Check on Gardner. This is a tough combination to steal on, but he has to guess right and have it be a changeup. Give him a better chance, especially with Gomes behind the plate. But sometimes catchers have a way of calling more fastballs when there's a speedy runner at first. But one thing I have also found over the years, before throwing a changeup, pitchers throw over the first quite a bit. Try and hold the runner, get their attention, then throw the changeup. Let's see what happens here. Oh, that's a fastball.
1-2. Gardner leads off first. 2 men out. Top of the 5th. 1-1 game. And the 1-2 to Headley. High fly ball, center field. Coming on is Jackson, and he'll put it away for the final out. No runs to hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. 4.5, halfway through, it's a 1-1 game. Ball break brought to you by T-Mobile. Felix Hernandez placed on the 10-day DL, right biceps tendonitis. Evan Gattis, 7-day DL for the concussion. Pablo Sandoval called up from AAA Sacramento by the Giants. Salvador Perez left the game yesterday with an intercostal strain, which is odd. He is an Iron Man behind the plate. Seems like he catches every game. So important to the Royals. 0-1 on Austin Jackson. Now 0-2.
So the Giants recently signed Sandoval, GMC scoreboard 1-1, and they sent him to AAA, right?
And he did not hit that well, but I believe Brandon Belt went on the deal with a concussion. So they call up Sandoval. And it's really a free look for the Giants. Swing and a miss. Jackson down on strikes. Just the Red Sox are paying his salary this year, next year, and the year after that at about $20 million a year.
Oh my goodness.
And it tells you how ineffective he was with Boston, that they'd be willing to just cut him loose and keep him around and try. They didn't see anything worth trying.
$60 million bucks?
Yeah.
Just go?
Yep.
Yeah.
Go away.
Another chase strikeout for Montgomery. Breaking ball in the dirt. Jackson went for it.
Jan Gomes. High pop-up. See if it stays in play. Looks like it will. Gregorius makes the play. 2 outs.
Batting now for the Indians, the third baseman, Giovanni Urshela.
Here is Giovanni Urshela. Lined to single right center in the third. Nice play by Judge to cut over and cut it off before it got past him and into the gap. Would have been a triple.
And the reason why it probably would have been a triple, because as an outfielder is going after a ball like that, and if he can't get to it, it's hard for him to change direction and then go back to the wall and get it. And he went.
0-2.
And what another reason that was an important play, because it was a leadoff hit in an inning.
Swing and a miss. Strong inning for Jordan Montgomery as he retires the Indians in order 1, 2, 3. He has retired 9 in a row since that Urshela single. We go to the 6th. On Sunday, August 27th for Aroldis Chapman Bobblehead Day, the 4th and final bobblehead in the 2017 Collectible Series, presented by AT&T for the first 18,000 guests in attendance. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Aaron Judge leads off the 6th, takes outside 1-0. Our information genius back at our yesterdays, Jeff Quagliata, tells me the last player manager was Pete Rose. And the first African-American manager was Frank Robinson as the player manager here in Cleveland.
Hit a home run on opening day.
Yeah.
In fact, inserted himself as a pinch hitter.
Yep.
He hit a home run.
2-2 on Judge. Judge singled to left in the first, struck out looking. Fastball right down the middle in the third. High fly ball, shallow right. And no one gets there. False foul.
Geyer was playing very deep in right center. The wind not quite as strong as it was here last night, but still blowing from left to right somewhat. So this ball got a bit of a push. You can see Santana, Ramirez, and Geyer all converging, and none of them can make the play. And as Geyer gets a chance to meet some of the fans up close and personal.
Three and two. David Robertson up. Swing and a miss. As Judge chases that pitch way out of the strike zone.
Strikeout number 9 for Salazar. This is a 3-2 pitch. And you can see it's nowhere near the strike zone. Getting too anxious.
I think the entire lineup is. Two strikes. The last 42 batters that Salazar has gotten 2 strikes on, 0 for 40, 2 walks and 25 strikeouts. Gregorius fouls it away. Ripped down the right field line. Foul.
Second time Didi's tried that line and gone foul both times. He hit the double in the first inning. Hit a ball hard, just foul in the third before striking out, and now he's to that point. But another hitter to the 2-strike point against Salazar. Somebody's got to break this string.
And that one is served into left center field, and someone broke the string. Ball cut off before he gets to the warning track, but Gregorius gets his second double.
It looked like it was the changeup, and it might have just hung up a bit. Now it's a fastball. It wasn't even a strike. But Didi reaches out and touches it. Gets good wood on it. Heads for the gap in left center. Has himself a 2-base hit. That's his 16th of the year. And he represents the go-ahead run and runs in scoring position.
One and 0. Sanchez 0 for 2, struck out looking and grounded to short. buzzed inside. Gary's trying to sell to Angel Hernandez that he was hit on the way by.
Let's see that.
I think I got him on the skin of the elbow.
That was awfully close.
So 2-0 count on the Yankee DH. Number 5 hitter in the order. Three and 0.
I think it's worth a shot here to let him go.
Ellsbury's on deck.
Let him swing.
We'll never know. Up and away. So ball 4. Sanchez walks, putting runners on first and second with 1 out. And that's the 3rd walk issued by Salazar. 2 to Gardner, and then that 1 to Sanchez. Zach McAllister is up in the bullpen.
It kind of appeared that Salazar was being very careful with Sanchez there. You see McAllister warming up in the bullpen. Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach, going to come out and talk to Salazar.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. So big spot for Ellsbury, who's 0 for 2 and 3 for his last 24. Long meeting at the mound, and as Angel Hernandez jogs out, they decide to break up.
You know, one thing I noticed when the Indians have a meeting on the mound, everybody in the infield is on the mound. It's almost like a football huddle.
Gregorius at second. Sanchez is at first. Ellsbury at the plate. 1-1 game, top of the 6th inning. Tipped into the glove of Gomes, 0-1. Well, the story of the week. Yankees are 8 for 43 with runners in scoring position the last 7 games. 46 men left on base. Gregorius' double in the first inning was such a hit, scoring Gardner from second. 1-1. 3rd game of this 4-game set. Yankees lost the last 2 of their 9-game homestand. They were 6 and 3 on the homestand. And the first 2 of this 4-game series. 1-1. 2-1.
Pitch count approaching 100 for Salazar. Remember, he's coming off the disabled list. Two starts since coming off. He's pitched pretty well in both of them. He's pitched well again here tonight.
Grounded foul. Right in on the hands. And the 2-2. Hit sharply to short. There's one on to first. They turn the double play. So Ellsbury grounds it up the middle, and Lindor starts a 6-4-3 double play to get Salazar out of trouble. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th, tied at 1.
Robertson comes on. We'll take a look at what Jordan Montgomery did this evening, and we mentioned the chase rate. He has a very high one. And take a look at all these pitches that end up out of the zone that the Cleveland Indian hitters are swinging at. Very solid effort for the young man. Only a run on 3 hits as the Indians were flailing away and couldn't do nothing much with Jordan Montgomery tonight.
A little odd to see him taken out of the game. He had retired his last 9 in a row. His pitch count was certainly in great shape. So they turned to Robertson. So 65 pitches, and they took him out after 9 Indians down in a row. I think Joe wants to stop this. I know he wants to stop this losing streak, and probably figures the best part of his team right now is the bullpen. So he wants to go to it here in the 6th.
Well, maybe, you know, not gambling on the 3rd time through the order as well.
One and 0. Another reason to stay tuned for the postgame. I'm sure Meredith will ask Joe his thinking on this. Last night's postgame was compelling viewing, especially the interview with Girardi was very forthright when it came to Sanchez's struggles behind the plate defensively. That one is ripped to right field. It's going to be over the head of Judge and off the base of the wall. Judge fields and holds him to a single.
Second time the big right fielder's made some good defensive plays in the outfield tonight, holding solid hits to a single. That pitch is right there, a little higher. It might have gone out of the ballpark. Lindor turns. He's thinking about it, but Judge plays the carom just about as well as you can play it. Gets momentum, turns and fires. The league is well aware he has a strong arm. And who but Aaron Judge in right field as we look at it on Yesmo.
So much has been said about his offensive prowess. He plays a really good right field. Lindor is chased back. Shows bunt, takes the bat back, and takes a ball.
Lindor is also effective at stealing bases. Okay. Good all-around game. Good hitter, solid defender, speedy base runner, #1 draft pick from Puerto Rico.
Trying to catch with Headley.
Well, not necessarily to pick him off, but hold him close in case the bunt gets down and you might have a play at second. I looked it up. Only the Chicago White Sox have more sacrifice bunts than the Cleveland Indians. So sacrifice bunts are a part of their offense more so than other teams in the league. Some sabermeticians will say that giving away an out is not the way you should go.
So the bunt was off. He swings and misses 2-2. Our very own David Cohn taking the sabermetrics out of it said, if I'm a pitcher, thank you very much.
Well, I think the reason why it was off because Robertson was behind on the count, and he might have gotten a better pitch to hit. And instead, he swung through it for strike 2, and now
popped up, shallow center, going to be a tough play, and Ellsbury makes the play. And Lindor goes back to first. Ellsbury with a nice play to take away a hit in center.
well, he was running for all he was worth to get underneath this one if he could, and he still had to lay out and make the play. Little blooper towards center. None of the infielders is going to get it. There's only one man who can make the play for the Yankees, and he does. And Lindor scampers back to first base. Ellsbury showing off his speed and holds on as he makes the diving catch. You can see the infielders retreat to cover second. It's Torres at second.
Pitch outside to Brantley. Starting pitchers tonight: Salazar 6 innings, 4 hits, a run. Montgomery 5 innings, 3 hits, a run. Didn't walk a batter, struck out 7. Salazar with 3 walks and 9 Ks. Strike, 1-1.
A false start for Lindor over at first base. Looked like he was taking off. He's definitely thinking about it. Cleveland with 4 hits tonight. Lindor has 2 of them.
One and 2.
Yeah, he's getting a little jumpy over there at first base. Just can't figure David Robertson's move out. Been kind of a quiet crowd here tonight. It's, you know, that drum beat out and what near the scoreboard out there. Been kind of silent. There he is. Was it John Adams?
John Adams.
Yeah.
Runner goes. That one is laced into left field. It's a base hit. Hit so sharply, though, that Lindor has to hold at second.
Lindor actually tripped going over the bag at second base, and now he's flexing as he took that false step. And that could have been dangerous. Now I'm wondering, was Didi trying to put a move on him? As if, yep, he did. As if the throw was coming to second. Which might have kept him from trying for third base. Now there's the drum again.
I think that Lindor was starting to go into a slide.
Yeah.
That's why he stumbled. Pitch inside to Ramirez. Ramirez 0 for 2. Up in the count 2-0. 2 runners on. That one is ripped into right field, but right there is Judge. He'll make the play. 2 away.
A little off the end of the bat.
And now the dangerous Edwin Encarnacion comes up.
Let's see. The target's low and away. The pitch is out there. Yeah, he had to reach for it. Couldn't quite get the A swing and the good wood on it. Good pitch by Robertson.
Grounded foul by Encarnacion. He's grounded to second and struck out tonight. Does not have good numbers against Robertson. 1 for 20. But the 1 is a home run.
Discussion out there, Romine and Robertson. This is the first time in the game that Cleveland has had 2 men on base.
Oh, 2. Lindor at second. Brantley's at first. 2 men out. Bottom of the 6th, 1-1 game. And the 0-2. Still 0-2.
Encarnacion fighting off a tough pitch. Robertson with a way ahead on the count has a chance to put him away, get him to chase.
Encarnacion with 64 ribbies on the year. Robertson deals. He struck him out. So he gets Encarnacion to get out of the jam. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left on base. Let's go to the 7th inning. It's a 1-1 game.
Is brought to you in part by People United Wealth Management, ready to help you set tomorrow in motion. By CityMD, when you need a doctor, just walk into CityMD Urgent Care. And by your Tri Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2017 models. Got a good one going here in Cleveland tonight. 1-1 as we go to the 7th inning. Todd Frazier takes a strike from Danny Salazar, who's still in there, and it's 0-1.
Frazier's 0 for 2 tonight. Pitch outside, 1-1. Fouled out to Santana at first. Struck out looking in the 4th. Cadillac scoreboard shows you a 1-1 game. Yankees with 4 hits, the Indians with 5. Yankees have left 5 on, the Indians 4. One and 2. Indians have to be thrilled the way Salazar has looked in the 3 starts since coming up the DL. Remember, they made their run to the 7th game of the World Series last year without Salazar and without Carrasco. Strike 3. Frazier down looking, and he did not like that call. And he's telling Angel Hernandez as much.
Now we get the second look. Too close to take. Let's see. And Gomes a good job of framing him.
Torreyes fouls it back.
You don't get many chances to frame Torreyes. He's going to be putting it in play. Well, he's taken 2 pitches in a row. Rarely does he take 3.
Olsen and McAllister. Takes 3. Wow. 2 and 2.
It took a strike at that.
Swing and a tip into the glove of Gomes. 2-away.
Foul tipped into the glove, and just a power fastball. 11 strikeouts now for Danny Salazar.
Here's Austin Romine. Austin 0 for 2. Grounded to short. Fly ball to shallow right. Strike.
The Yankees struck out 11 times in the opening game against Kluber last night, 10 times. And tonight 11 more.
And the 11 that ties a career high for Salazar. Oh, 2.
Mickey Callaway, the Cleveland pitching coach, has to be happy with this performance, at least to this point. It's probably Salazar's last batter. Over 106 pitches.
Hernandez looked like he was about to raise his right arm.
He's done a lot of that tonight. Both pitchers. A lot of strikeouts. That one's outside.
Fly ball, right side, and it's a foul ball. No one can get to it. That's really nice. Gave it to the kid, even though he's a Yankee fan. Nice job for that lady.
Ooh, look out. It's one of those don't lean out there.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 7th. 1-1 game. Romine battling. Fouls it back. This will be Salazar's 112th pitch. Brett Gardner's on deck. He's walked twice and singled against Salazar. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. So he strikes out the side. That's his career high 12th strikeout. And it's time for the 7th inning stretch in Cleveland. It's a 1-1 game on yes. Cleveland brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. It's a 1-1 game, 1-5-0 for the Indians, 1-4-0 for the Yanks. Montgomery, as the guy just said, lasted 5 innings, and then the Yankees turned it over to Robertson. Danny Salazar, 7 innings, 4 hits, a run, 3 walks, a career high, 12 strikeouts. The scoring, Didi Gregorius with the RBI double. That came in the 1st inning. Carlos Santana with the solo home run. That came in the 2nd. Otherwise, a lot of zeros. No moonshots tonight, although Santana did hit one off the railing above the high wall. And Santana will lead off against Robertson, starting his 2nd inning of work. Gave up a couple of hits in the 6th. Cadillac scoreboard 1-1. Chop toward first. Headley flips to Robertson. 1 pitch, 1 out. Austin Jackson due up. Looks like they're looking for Zimmer to grab a bat.
Makes you wonder if he was on the bench. And maybe he was down in the cage trying to get loose. Most of the ballparks in this day and age, they have batting cages just down the steps from the dugout. If you're a pinch hitter, you can go down and take a few swings off the tee, or have somebody, one of the bat boys, toss you a few, and you can get loose.
And the pitch to Zimmer is a strike.
You talked about Zimmer in the opening game when he started. Former #1 draft pick. As Tommy Kahnle was getting up in the Yankee bullpen. One of the fastest runners in the league for a guy who's 6'5". Ooh, chased one in the dirt. And the Indians think an awful lot of this young man.
And the 0-2. Bounced it up there. Kind of 34,651 on this Saturday evening. 7th sellout of the year at Progressive Field. They get a good game, and after the game, they're going to get a fireworks show, which was planned yesterday but had to be canceled because of high winds. Swing and a miss. Zimmer down on strikes.
Now stepping to the plate for the Indians.
Second strikeout for David Robertson. Zimmer wasn't up there long. Good, solid breaking ball. Remember that from days gone by when Robbie was pitching out of the Yankee bullpen. Still has it. You think about when Robertson's first tour with the Yankees, how much he learned from Mariano Rivera, sitting out in the bullpen at the right hand of the master. Learned a little cutter from him, but always had that good curveball. There's that cutter.
Grounded softly to third. Barehanded by Frazier. Throw to first. Got him. Beautiful play by Todd Frazier to end the inning. And Robertson gets the Indians in order 1-2-3. We will go to the 8th. It's a 1-1 game. Put a star next to this play. Great play by the Yankee third baseman. episode of Homegrown, The Path to Pinstripes, and see which young players are making noise in Scranton. Plus, catch the next all-new episode on Wednesday, August 16th. It's only on Yes. It's a tremendous show. Kids have been such a big part of this season, and we see the next wave on this show as well. Bradley Zimmer will take over at center. He'll pinch hit for Jackson. And the new pitcher is Zach McAllister.
Nice, some good numbers there.
And he will face Brett Gardner. First pitch outside. Hyundai scoreboard 1-1. Two on one. The Tance is up.
Gardner's been up 4 times, and each one of the plate appearances he's had a 3-ball count. And he's seen his share of pitches tonight. One thing about Gardner this year, he's very adept at hitting the ball to the opposite field, but if you leave something middle in and he's looking in there, and it's either that slider down and in that you don't get it far enough down and not far enough in, those are the ones he's been giving a ride all year. Career high 19 home runs.
Three-two. Swing and a miss. Gardner down on strikes.
Now he's checking to see if this is a strike. The target's down and in. Yeah, that's a strike. That's a little too close to take. 3-2.
That was a strike. Here's Chase Headley, who was 0 for 3. A couple of strikeouts. Fly ball to center. And a breaking ball drops in there for a strike.
Yeah, both these teams with very good bullpens.
High fly ball, right field. Backing up Geyer on the track, at the wall, leaps, see ya! A home run for Headley, and the Yankees lead 2-1.
Earlier in the game, the wind was blowing that way, but this particular time, there's not much wind at all here at Progressive Field. Headley didn't need it. Rides it into the seats for his 6th home run of the year. It looked like a slider maybe that was hanging.
Here's Aaron Judge. Fouls it back.
Let's see. Yeah, hanging slider right in the middle of the plate. He knew he got good wood on it, and it carries well beyond the 375-foot sign. That's Geyer. He's going to have the last look at it before it disappears into the seats.
Check swing, foul back.
So you had mentioned how well Headley been swinging the bat since what, mid-June?
Yep. Chopped to short, Lindor. 2 outs.
Although he only has 1 hit tonight, it was a big one.
Well, with Gregorius due up, Terry Francona will go to the bullpen, bring on the left-hander Olsen. So McAllister serves up the home run to Headley. The Yankees lead 2-1. We're here in the 8th.
Clemente told me that even when you're not hitting, you can still help your ball club win games. And one of the ways is by playing good defense. And the Yankees have gotten that tonight from Aaron Judge in right field. 2 plays, maybe extra base hits, cut down, holding the runners to singles. Good play by Ellsbury in center field. And finally, this excellent play by Todd Frazier at third. Barehanded, throws on the run, gets a runner out at first. Solid defense. Don't make mistakes. You can win the close games.
So McAllister serves up the home run to that man, Chase Headley. Yankees lead 2-1. And the new pitcher for the Indians, the lefty Tyler Olsen, against Didi Gregorius. And he hits one sharply to first, gobbled up by Santana. And that'll do it here in the 8th. But not before the Yankees get a run on 1 hit. The 1 hit off the bat of Chase Headley, a hanging breaking ball. His 6th home run of the year. When it lands, the Yankees have a 2-1 lead. Indians won. Want to remind everybody about the excitement of rivalry week. It's coming to yes as the Yankees get set to play 10 straight games against the Red Sox and the Mets. Oh yeah, 6 against the Red Sox, 4 against the Mets. It all begins Friday with a crucial battle from the stadium against Boston. It'll be right here on yes. Chase Headley's home run has put the Yankees up 2-1 as they're attempting to snap this 4-game losing streak. Now they turn to Dellin Betances after 2 scoreless innings by David Robertson. Be the 44th game by Betances. How about this stat, Ken? This is the first time 4 consecutive starters have thrown 7 or more innings and allowed 1 or fewer runs against the Yankees since 1960.
Ooh. 1960.
1960. So Salazar did his job. McAllister did not. Now the Yankees have to make that 2-1 lead hold up. Here is Giovanni Urshela. He's 1 for 2. And a breaking ball strike. 0-1.
Yeah, that's a knee buckler for the right-handed hitters from Betances. They're always respecting that the fastball that reaches 100 miles an hour. That is one of the nastiest breaking balls in the league.
That was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and the fast pitch speed analytics brought to you by Fios. So count 0-2 as he fouled that one off on the check swing. And the pitch. Lined into right field. Coming on is Judge, and he makes the play.
Big man's having a good night out in right field. Got a good jump on this one. Sinking line drive. Urshela turns and hits back to the dugout. Caught it about belt high.
Chapman getting ready.
An appeal. Ted Barrett said no swing by Francisco Lindor. Lindor had his career high 13-game hitting streak broken last night. Looks like he held that. Come back with 2 hits here tonight.
Numbers against Betances. 3 for 4. 1 of the 3 left the yard. Two and 2.
I mentioned it was a career high 13-game hitting streak for Lindor. He's had 3 hitting streaks of at least 12 games this year, but each previous 2 times he got to 12, it stopped.
So the count is full. Allen and Goody up. Strike 3. Lindor knew it, and he is down looking 2 away.
Yeah, knee buckler is usually reserved for right-handed hitters, but this one freezes a left-handed hitter. Great pitch for call strike 3. Like Lindor was looking fastball all the way and got the hook. And it was a strike.
There's Brandon Guyer. Betances has it today. He is certainly working with command of both of his pitches.
And you saw it from the very first pitch. Went with a breaking ball to Urshela and got it in there for a strike.
Need Buckler right there, 0-2. So what does he do here? And the pitch. 1-2. That's another breaking ball. And the 1-2. Strike 3. Guyer down looking. A great 8th inning for Dellin Betances as he gets the Indians in order. Let's go to the 9th. 2-1 Yanks. Edition of WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show, as Joe gets a tour of the Hall of Fame here in Cleveland and then talks about the team's trade deadline transactions. That's all new tomorrow at 5 after Yankees coverage only on Yes. You have the Yankees and the Indians, the post-game show, and then WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show. All right, so it's 2-1 Yankees over the Indians. And the Yankees will see an old friend who's having a good year. Former Yankee Nick Goody, 39th game for Goody. He has 50 strikeouts in 39 of the 3rd innings pitched.
And just a 204 batting average against this. And he's almost unrecognizable with that beard.
He's going to face Sanchez, Ellsbury, and Frazier.
Yankees trying to pick up some insurance runs there. Here in the 9th inning. Pad their lead.
Kenny, that's about as well as Betances has pitched all year.
Right from the first pitch.
Yep. So whatever mechanical glitch he was dealing with, they have fixed it. And he was overpowering that inning.
There was only one pitch that was well out of the strike zone. That was by design. They tried to get, I believe it was Guy to chase one. Like that.
1-2. Sanchez 0 for 2 with a walk. Two on Yankees as they try to snap a 4-game losing streak. Foul back.
It appears that whenever they get 2 strikes on Sanchez, they go down and away with breaking balls. A right-handed pitchers.
Swing and a miss. And he has been unable to lay off that pitch. He and Judge have struggled with that particular pitch.
Yeah, once again, it's the formula. You should be able to figure it out by now. They're trying to get you to chase one, and he's gone fishing quite often in this series.
Kenny, that's 14 strikeouts by the Yankees.
Yeah, you know what? Cleveland struck out a bunch of times. There's a lot of strikeouts in this game. Cleveland has struck out 11 times. That's 25 strikeouts.
Here's Ellsbury. Came up twice with 2 runners on. Did not deliver. Shows bunt, takes a strike. In the first inning, second and third, 2 outs, fly ball to center. In the 6th inning, first and second, 1 out, wrapped into a inning-ending 6-4-3 double play. The 0-1. 0-2. So Ellsbury's 0 for 3 tonight, and he is 3 for his last 26. Hitting .242. Goody deals. Missed inside, 1-2. It will not be easy for Aroldis Chapman in the bottom of the 9th. He'll face 3, 4, and 5 in the innings order. Brantley, Ramirez, and Encarnacion. Grounded left side. Urshela. 2 away.
This is our first look at Urshela at third base, and I know he made 2 spectacular plays last night, but he looks very smooth over at third. Just going to his left, he made it look like a walk in the park, and good strong throwing arm. If he's able to hit a little bit, he might have himself a job for a while at third base.
Frazier swings and misses. 0-1. Frazier had 2 hits last night, including the home run, but he's 0 for 3 tonight with 2 strikeouts looking. 3 for his last 26. 18 homers, 49 ribbies combined with the White Sox numbers. The 0-1. 0-2. One, two. His swing is the difference in this game. An 8th inning home run. Broke a 1-1 tie. It's 2-1 Yankees thanks to Headley's 6th home run. One, two. 2-2. Two 5-0, leading 1-5-0. Top of the 9th inning at Progressive Field. And the 2-2. 3-2. And the payoff. Todd Frazier walks with 2 outs. And that will bring up Ronald Torreyes.
Number 74, Ronald Torreyes.
And Gomes will talk with Goody. He's saying, listen, don't throw him a first pitch fastball because he'll swing.
He's gonna.
Put a little wrinkle in it.
Yeah. About once every 2 months he hits one out. He's got 3 on the year. Oh, he did put a wrinkle in it.
0-1.
Torreyes with a short, compact swing. He holds the bat almost right in front of him. Just kind of flicks it at the ball.
Pop foul behind the plate. And the count is 0-2. A very quiet sellout crowd. Yankees have held the Indians down to just that 1 run in the 2nd inning. And the 0-2. Foul back.
Do you think Torreyes has ever got caught looking this year?
I think he has.
He's not very often though.
Swing and a miss. Torres strikes out. No runs, no hits, no errors. One man left. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Chapman will come on and try to close it out for the Yankees. WB Mason postgame as Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty bring you highlights and analysis of all the action. Plus, Meredith Morakovitz has reaction from the clubhouse right here in Cleveland. It's only on Yes. So now they turn it over to Chapman. Jordan Montgomery 5 strong, allowed 1 hit. David Robertson 2 shutout innings. Dellin Betances 1 shutout inning. And now Chapman.
.44 Ks and 30 1/3. Opponent's 224. He's got, as Michael told you, 3, 4, and 5 in the Cleveland order to deal with here in the bottom of the 9th. Well, we'll see if he can follow Betances' lead here and finish off this game.
Chapman has not pitched since Monday. You have a 4-game losing streak. There's not much use for your closer. So sometimes location is an issue. And sometimes you feel a little bit too strong. We'll see how it affects him. Last time Chapman was here on that mound, he was helping the Cubs win Game 7. And there's the strike. Now remember, he gave up the home run to Rajay Davis. But the impressive thing was he was obviously exhausted. They had used him so much, but he came out that next inning and working with mostly breaking balls, held the Indians scoreless and allowed the Cubs to win it. The 0-1. There's a base hit to right field from Brantley. That was 101 miles an hour, and Brantley was right on it.
Tried to get it down and away, and instead this one's more towards the middle, and Brantley's too good a hitter. He's been hot lately. His 2nd hit of the night, and he's aboard.
So here is Jose Ramirez, number 2 batter in the American League, behind Altuve for best batting average. He's the cleanup hitter in the Indians' order. Brantley has speed. Held there by Headley. Chapman deals. Strike.
100 on the nose.
And the pitch.
Slider for a strike.
Including the postseason, Ramirez 1 for 5 against Chapman with 4 strikeouts. And he's down on the count 0-2. Now in terms of stealing against Romine, he has only thrown out 3 of 21 attempted base stealers this year.
Brantley is 7 out of make that 11 out of 12 this year in stolen base attempts.
High fly ball, deep left, going back Gardner. He's on the track, he's at the wall, leaps, and he makes the play. Fires it in, and hustling back is Brantley. What a play by Gardner.
All 3 Yankee outfielders have turned in tremendous defensive plays tonight. Hanging slider. And I think Ramirez was just underneath it still. Almost got it up off the wall for an extra base. Great timing by Brett Gardner on the leap. Hauls it in for the catch. And Brantley has to retreat to first base. And Ramirez, well, he's got his feelings hurt.
That close to ending it. And a great play by Gardner, 1 away. So Chapman can hit the reset button. Now he has to face a very tough batter in Edwin Encarnacion. 0 for 3 tonight. Brantley leads off first, held by Headley. Yankees lead 2-1, bottom of the 9th inning. These two have never faced each other. Fouls the fastball back, 1-1. Does well against the Yankees. 127 games, 21 homers, 78 ribbies, 280 batting average. One and two. Doesn't have that sharp break on the slider today, Kenny.
Yeah, but he got away with one there that was out of the zone. And he got him to chase it. And that was up like the one to Ramirez, but Ramirez was over the plate.
Brantley leads off first. Romine gives the sign.
That sign is to throw to first base. And that sign comes from the bench. looks like fastball away.
1-2. Almost too far away. 2-2.
Good job by Romine of flagging that down. .101, and he's still able to corral it.
Two. 3-2. Santana's on deck. Crowd to its feet. And the pitch. Fly ball, shallow right. That is going to be caught by a diving Torres. Another beautiful defensive play. Yankees flashing the leather tonight.
Well, Mike, you think back to the first inning of the first game and how poorly the Yankees played on defense tonight. They're making amends all over the field. This time it's Torres' turn. And he's pinched towards second for a double play ball. He has to go even further. Lays out and makes the catch. And Brantley once again has to get back to first base. Looked like he was going down and out for a long, and hauls it in for the second out of the inning. Excellent play.
1 out to go. Here is Carlos Santana. Todd Frazier deep at third, about 5 feet off the line. Outfield is deep. Grounded foul. Fouled off the slider.
Yeah, outfielders do not want the ball to go over their head. In particular, Brett Gardner in left field, very deep. Just a few steps in front of the warning track. They'll give up a single.
The 0-1, but first to throw to first. Santana, including postseason, 1 for 6, 2 strikeouts against Chapman. The 0-1. 1-1. Just called up today, Abraham Almonte will pinch hit for Zimmer if it gets that far. Chapman has thrown 14 pitches. And the 1-1.
Another good stop by Romine. Keeps it right in front of him. Textbook.
You can see the slider's just not clicking tonight. The fastball will get him to save or not. Two 1. 2-2. Now what does he throw?
I think he wants to make this a pitch of decision. You don't want to go to 3-2 and have the runner going 3-2 and getting a head start in case there's a ball that gets near a gap. Brantley has decent speed. So I think this is should be pitch of decision here to try and get this game over with. not going to be.
102, way upstairs and outside. So Brantley will go. 3-2, 2 outs. Yankees lead 2-1, bottom of the 9th inning. And the pitch. Foul back, they'll do it again. Those two have helped the Yankees this inning. Do they have one more play in them? The cat and mouse game between Santana and Chapman. Game on the line here in Cleveland. And the pitch. Oh, with the slider and fouled it back. Indians about hit the Yankees 6-5. Yankees lead 2-1. A 7-pitch at bat. Goes. Driven the other way. Foul ball, just foul.
Santana didn't miss by much.
Oh.
A classic battle here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th.
A Saturday night game in front of a sellout crowd, matching 2 teams that have playoff aspirations. Indians in first place. The Yankees, if the season ended today, would be a wild card, trying to chase the Red Sox. They have a 2-1 lead, bottom of the 9th inning, 2 outs, 3-2 count. Tying runs at first. And the pitch. Strike 3, ball game over, and the Yankees win this one 2-1. Chapman strikes out Santana looking, and the Yankees squeeze out a victory to snap their 4-game losing streak.
Brett Gardner, great play this evening. Ellsbury earlier, Judge with a couple. Chapman picks up the save. All smiles for the Yankees as they break the losing streak on the strength of the home run by Chase Headley. The Yankees win it 2-1. Torreyes with a great play.
And the Yankee bullpen, 4 shutout innings, and they needed 4 shutout innings. It was this close. Here's the final pitch.
And he went with his slider, and it's called strike 3. That was probably his best slider of the evening. And he catches Santana looking, who gave up on it, and it darted over the outside corner.
The Yankees certainly needed that victory. They got a good start out of Montgomery. Outstanding work out of the bullpen. The home run by Headley. Time to go back to Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty. Set the table for the rest of the night.